So I believe that does bring us to tonight's episode of Critical Role.
Welcome, friends of Dice Never Lie. Anybody who's checking us out for the first time, my name's Jared. I am the Dungeon Master here at Dice Never Lie. Just want to do a little bit of a commentary on the most recent session coming out of Critical Role Zone. They are on Season 3, Episode 33. Who's surprised that it's an epic battle? This is an awesome session to come up on. And just wanted to speak to a few of the things where there's some amazing things being done. There's some amazing times where great choices were made. And there's some amazing times where great dice were rolled. And some of these things are great habits to rock out as a player. Some of them are not the best habits to have as a player. It's neither here or there. But it is a very pertinent subject here for Dice Never Lie, because running a deadly campaign necessarily means that at times you're going to be in stressful situations. And I think it pays to be able to see how other people play into, cope with, or experience these situations. Because sometimes it means a lot to recognize that there is like a choice on how you experience these things. In particular, I like to point out Travis and Sam are constantly laughing during this episode here. But we are going to be picking up about 8 minutes after their break. And we're going to pick up with initiative when the first mistakes are made. And it's dice rolls.
Initiative on this.
Ooh, initiative.
25 to 20.
Not good.
All right. 20 to 15.
17.
15 to 10.
14.
14. 14.
16.
All right, so Ashton, Chetney. 10 to 5.
Oh, wait, no, I had 11.
At 11, okay.
7.
Who's left?
3.
1.
Did you also roll in that one?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Hot tables.
So, the table's gone cold. And going cold for initiative into a big bad is always rough. This is one of the biggest telltale signs that something's going to go horribly wrong. And it's one of the things you can't stop, but it makes for epic combat. Gotta keep in mind, I don't know a whole lot about what they're doing in this campaign, but the first half of this session, they were fighting for a city that is under siege. Coming back from the break, they had just met with the big bad. Laura had started the conversation with the big bad in a spell, while the big bad is basically telling her to give in and join her. So we've got a few things to note here. I'm pretty sure this is Matt introducing a new big bad to the combat life of these characters. I have a feeling it's somebody who's been a running danger throughout, but this is the first time that the party is in an actual deadly encounter with them, and has to make that choice to flee, to try to fight, or to die. And they're immediately, almost 4 players probably rolled 10 or under on their die. When your DM goes, "Ooh," pretty sure Matt rolled a nat 20 for the big bad to go first. Let's see how that works out.
Done. Cold table. Cold table.
Cold save.
Boy.
Otohan goes first.
Yep. We know.
Sure.
You first, Ashton.
Not still raging anymore?
You are not still raging.
Okay, I've dropped my rage apparently. Okay.
3 and an off.
Well, you weren't taking damage or dealing damage. 28 to hit.
Oh yeah, that hits.
16 points of slashing damage.
Fuck.
Got that little bit of the moment where the barbarian is super salty that they're not raging. But that's part of the problem with when the group tries to have conversation. They were fighting. And then there was probably about 30 seconds of conversation that happened. And it's definitely a weird moment. But the barbarian's definitely not raging going into this fight.
Me.
18 to hit.
Yep.
You take
Related.
11 points of slashing damage.
I may have taken an extra 10 points I didn't mean to.
That's fine.
Matt's playing with the big bad. You can tell like he's never used her. He makes a mistake and actually does some prone-based damage to Taliesin right off the bat, and the math starts to confuse them. I think that's actually a really great selling point for taking hard copy notes on a scrap of paper and perhaps transcribing those to like a digital source or whatnot. It's one of the rough things, but DMs are constantly saying things, including dice rolls, that are through their head and gone. because you're always improvising in the moment. You're almost never trying to retain the information. You're trying to get it to the player. And it's one of those reasons why, like, I often have blackboards, but that's still for my notes. I'm taking tons of notes on the side, besides what I type digitally into my computer. But the players, I think, should be on a similar level where you try to scratch down everything.
Take it off. 14 points of slashing
I'm
damage.
down. Oh, God.
Matt tells him it
Ashton's
doesn't
down.
even matter.
There's more than 34.
Matt
Baron's
knows,
down.
like,
Not
this guy's going to drop
I'm down.
him right away.
I was
First turn
very
of
high.
initiative.
We're running.
13 minutes
Yeah,
after
fucking
their
hits.
break.
I'm out.
That
Barbarian's
is 12
down.
points of slashing
Wow.
damage. Orem, you should make a death save for me.
Brutus it is.
Orem's
That's
down.
one success.
I think this
All right,
is
Ashton, your turn.
now
Death save, please.
4 minutes after the combat
One
starts.
failed save.
Cool.
All right.
Cool.
Chetney, you're
Yes.
up. 14 points of slashing damage.
I'm out.
For an
That means a
unconscious,
burn turn.
I
Burn, you
think
should make a death
it's
save.
20
please.
minutes.
Cleric's still up.
14.
That's one success. So mark that one success. You can both hit her and get Ashton in the radius if you like.
You get to roll a hit dice, Ashen.
Okay, I'll bonus action healing word Fern.
What's the range on it?
Who do I care about more? My lifelong friend Liam.
So they
Or the
have
fun
this
character
great
that makes us all
moment here where they start to
We
rally,
said scatter a note. We
and
just
that
wanted to- we
laughter
just-
is one of those points where that laughter is just like, oh my gosh, there's a light at the end of this tunnel. You take them into the deep dark of the soul, the darkest part of the day, or the darkest part of the night before the dawn. And that laughter, that healing, is the feeling like, okay, maybe there's a chance. And this is Laura reminding us, we
Oh,
said
we
to
did
run,
it. 3 of us would die.
Yeah.
but people were dying. And it's one of the hardest things about running is that if you're going to run, you have to run. You can't run and hold off. There's a point here where Laura, who the target of this fight is her, Laura teleports away. And then she comes back.
Slashing damage?
I'm down.
Strength of the grave.
This is a record, right?
Yes. We've had fights
Travis
where
recognizing
one
this is
down,
the first time
second
4 people have been down
This is a wave of
at the
mutilation.
same
So
time.
as a third attack, is going to go ahead.
Oh, he's merciful.
Matt trying to debate,
No.
can I fight somebody else? He's got to kill Marisha.
He's the only one in range, Ladna.
Yeah. It's okay.
He doesn't want to. I don't want to
That's
sleep
gonna
on the
be-
couch.
Well, it's with advantage. 'Cause you're on the ground.
I'm sure it hits.
That's not a crit. You fail 2 death saves.
I roll right? Or no, I just...
No, you just failed 2 death saves from a critical melee. That brings us now to Orem's turn. Orem, roll the death save, please.
Fail.
So success and a fail.
You guys are standing very tall. Sit in your chairs.
I know, sorry. I just had to see.
This is a
I'm trying
moment
to
of
decide what
Travis
to do.
being the CEO,
Trying to remember how far I
reminding
can
these
go,
guys
'cause
that this
I'm
is not
panicking.
necessarily
Alright.
theirs so much as
Thanks for
production
productive.
for
I did, there we
the,
go.
for
Oh,
the
that's
guests.
awesome. I blind.
Spread your wings and fly, bitch.
Curing I can only do by touch.
And then that moment there was, I think that's a clutch little thing. I added that for extra reasons. But it's that, those 2 moments are where you start to see Travis giving in to his being frustrated about this. And I don't want it to sound like I think Travis is the perfect player, but I like to show that that's like the things where I think he really does fall into his stress. And in those 2 comments, he tells Liam and he tells Taliesin, hey, sit in your seats. The people who are watching us want to actually see the 2 of you, not your empty chairs. So it's a really funny CEO moment of it where he kind of gives into the stress. And then I think it's 2 minutes later, Taliesin is so stressed over what's going on that he can't figure out what to do. And it's again Travis giving into, I think, frustration, but he's being very truthful when he says, spread your wings and fly. Like, you chose to make a complicated character. Now play the complicated character, but don't make everybody else suffer for it. Do something.
Orem. I am going to do cure wounds on Orem through Mister.
She's not even looking a little rough.
Poor Liam has been
Look at that.
unconscious
Look at
this entire
I
battle.
spent a lot of this run away.
But
so.
one of the things is you can't out heal
Opening
damage,
round for you.
and you can't out heal
8
her
points of
damage.
healing.
Whoa, look
She
at that.
has
Like
so many
89%.
legendary
Let's put it back up.
actions, which you
Ladna,
need
if you rolled up save,
to be able to fight these
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
When you're fighting
fucking
this
damn it.
many
That is
players, everybody on some level
Delilah,
needs
take the
healing.
wheel.
Otherwise, her legendary actions are kind of playing it out.
It's a natural 20.
Is it
But
really?
that
You saw it. You see it, right?
Right
you see it.
there.
Shit.
Oh my god.
is why you kill players.
Hey, you got knocked
The
down.
value of a nat 20
I will
in
never question you
situations
for a
like
second,
this
Delilah.
is amazing.
Delilah?
Warlock for life.
In the middle of
You'll
the
never
shadow,
get that over.
deep in your spirit, as the darkness threatens to
That
consume
doesn't
you,
make any fucking sense.
She's got more plans for you.
You fucking
Marisha
Wait,
can't
that's
handle
stupid. I'm sorry.
It's like such a
Deep
like
shadow
crazy
before the
experience.
darkness begins to curl and take you.
Sam and Travis just have the biggest smiles on their faces. That's why
Your eyes.
20s are so amazing.
But they're full.
For
No one can
having
see. They're
players
full black.
down.
Is it just there's black? It comes out.
We're all around,
Yeah, but everybody's awake.
There's a really heavy sense.
That's when they notice everybody is back up.
At the same
3 minutes later,
She stops for a
Aurum
second.
is dead.
We've
Those
met
were his
before.
final words.
Yeah. Oh. You're so close.
1 minute later,
Fern. Your
Fern.
final moments.
Oh my fucking god.
Consciousness and life on this realm. As the blade rests above you. What do you do? What do you say?
Boy, that was a hell of a run.
Fern Calloway's no more. 2 more attacks in a round against you. Is going to go ahead and take her third and last
Check me.
strike. You take 2 death saves.
Down.
She's just strikes that third strike into Chetney and looks up at you once more. The more you run from it, the more you lose. There's greatness in you.
All
Nothing to
for Loud. No,
Like
not
a
Loud.
death like a
50-meter high dive.
Here we go.
13.
Travis had 2 failed death saves right there. That was pass or fail. Live or death.
Imogen.
So much fun,
I'm not
cracking
losing
up
to
laughing. He
surrender,
got,
dude.
I think, 4 or 5 of
What's that doing
them
to me?
to laugh in that like moment. That's why you go to dangerous combats.
Lie down towards her. I'll
Everything
reach
is
my hand
epic.
towards her.
Everything means something.
But before
Laura
I
coming back to
I'm gonna
surrender.
witch bolt at third level.
She still
Go ahead
hasn't
and
run.
take 1 strike against you. 10
And
points of
going
slashing
into
damage.
surrender, she doesn't
will
even do that.
pass
She
that.
still fights.
Second strike.
She chooses death.
Take
Keeps me from having to.
14 points of slashing damage.
I'm down again.
You watch as she strikes once. Well, this is not a crit, so you take 2 failed death saves.
I'll go with you.
And again, she gives up.
Go.
And
give
again, she's not going to actually surrender.
pulls the blade
Over
from
and over again,
blood in
the
her body,
players will choose
falls to
death.
the ground with a dark spatter across the rock, throws the blade up, catches
I'm gonna
it.
close my eyes, open them, and scream dissonant whispers out in her head again.
Feel like a tidal surge pulling you under as she stands there lifting the very space around her. Shakes
As it gives
and
in,
adjusts. The rest of you are
Laura's
pulled
going to
throughout,
disappear with
and
this
with
big
one
bad.
final scream.
We've got 2 players who are dead. Sam has the ability to revivify,
That's what
and 2 players who are unconscious. Right now, Liam and Fern, or Liam and Ashley, their characters are dead. Travis and Marisha's characters are unconscious, both of them with 2 death saving throws. Their next death saving throw is a 50-50 life or death. And then I think we've got Taliesin is actually up right now. He didn't go down since everybody was up 42 minutes into the fight. When everybody was back up, it went 6 minutes later, Aurum. Got 9 minutes later, it went Fern. And then from Fern went to Chutney, who was like, I think, 18 minutes later. And then Loudna right after that was about 10 more minutes. It's still all pretty much that same turn. Don't think it ever got back around to Ashton more than that he just wasn't even a target there.
What does that mean?
No, I don't. Am I
No.
dead or alive?
And Matt just crushes it. For all those crescendos, bringing it up, dropping it low, all of that emotional push and pull. He makes sure to leave it on, we have to wait. Because
pretty awesome.
the way they came back and got everybody up,
No,
used all of that energy.
Did
You have to let them
Are we all dead?
repair and re-energize
episode.
before you can do this all again.
Oh my
And you can
God.
see in their faces
Moly.
how exhausted some of them are, how energetic some of them are. Look at the smile on Travis and Sam.
To that note,
They can still go through it. But the girls, all 3 of the women are in like
We have
states
3
of
people.
stun.
2 dead, 1 about to be dead.
Liam
Yeah, 2
and
for sure
Taliesin,
down,
I
1 that's a
think,
big
look
question
pretty
mark.
exhausted, but Liam's still cracking a smile here and there. I think Liam's got the DM style of he can recognize things, but he's exhausted as a player. So that was an awesome episode to see from the Critical Role people. It's so important to recognize how you take player death, how you kind of view those things. So it's a lot to kind of be out there and be ready to deal with. I think at the end of everything there, You can see that we've got some of the players are absolutely exhausted. I think some of them are stunned and shocked, but you can see also that there's plenty of joy and happiness. There's so much to getting into these situations where, again, Matt got them worn down and low on spells. I'm pretty sure Sam did that whole battle without any spell slots expended, because I think at the start of the fight, he says, I'm low on spells. And later on in the fight, he reminds everybody he's saving Revivify for when the big bad leaves. And it comes up, like, this is an important moment to recognize that, like, these players are doing some epic things here. I think this is an awesome way to recognize death. I'm not convinced that Matt has killed all of these characters. You have to recognize that this is a TV show, not traditional D&D. But it is a TV show where there's still D&D aspects to it. I don't want to demean how amazing and fun this show is, but the production is still meant for a lot more things than simply what comes down to playing at home or with friends on the internet. However you may choose to enjoy this game, though, please remember, not every table is for every person. Find the table that you know and love. I hope everybody enjoys my style. It's kind of an old school sort of Renaissance throwback to the idea that characters are what flows through the greater arching story that changes the worlds. And I think Critical Role is a little bit different. These 7 characters are the characters who are going to change this world. I personally like the idea that at any given time, your choice could lead to your death just as much as really poor dice rolls can lead to your death. I think this was a moment where they didn't really know that they were going to fight this person. They discussed that they wanted to run, but nobody stuck to it. It leads to a lot of deaths, and we'll see how that pans out.